Hello, friends. Looks like we're live. Hello, how are you? So glad you're here. So glad to get to have this conversation with literally anybody who wants to be a part of it. We have a Taurus full moon total lunar eclipse coming up November 8th. This is huge energy that we are likely already feeling a good big chunk of. And we will continue to see this build until November 8th, where we have a culmination of sorts. And even then, it's still likely that the changes and implications of what's coming up on November 8th are going to play out for at least 6 months, if not way longer. It's like when we have full moons, they're always a time of manifestation and culmination. But when we have an eclipse, meaning the full moon is happening in a sign where the nodal axis is, so like the north node's in Taurus, the south node's in Scorpio, and actually the full moon in Taurus is right in between the north node in Taurus and Uranus. And that little chunk of energy is a supercharged full moon because the north node is involved. And so, because this is an eclipse, it's more than just a new beginning or a manifestation of some sort. It's bringing with it something that's going to unfold as a whole chapter in your life. It's not just like going to play out for 6 months. Maybe that's how long it takes to get it started and situated, but it's a chapter opening. It's like a whole new book, maybe. So there are it just feels like gigantic tidal waves of energy moving through mass consciousness. Um, Kind of like I said, almost already now, with the new moon solar eclipse in Scorpio that we just had on the 25th. Would love to hear from you. How was that? How did it feel for you? Um, and now coming up on November 8th, we have the full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus. So we have, oh, like I have a sense of the feeling of this energy that I want to do my best to convey is in full as I possibly can. And so I'm going to do the Taurus thing as best I can and relax into it, relax into the pieces unfolding themselves in the order that they will, and just trust that well being is dominant. So there's no rush. There's literally no rush in this conversation. We have the time and space. I know I do. And if, hopefully you do too, you can carve that out for this conversation because I genuinely feel another Taurus concept that this conversation is very valuable. There, there are so many things within that tidal wave that are going to be washing through our experience, a lot coming up. We have a lot of Scorpio energy at this full moon. There's not just the sun, but also kind of on either side, we have Mercury and Venus and the South Node. So there's a ton of Scorpio energy, like plumbing the depths of bringing up all kinds of things from our unconscious minds that maybe we didn't realize were in there because it's unconscious. And that's okay. That'll be like par for the course if we have lots of old emotional things kind of coming to the surface. And as we do, the manifestation, the culmination that's happening is on the Taurus end, where that is essentially our ability to ground within ourselves, to nourish ourselves, our physical vessel. Can you sustain your life or not? And that's about as complex as it gets. It's like when you're tired, go to sleep. When you're hungry, eat some food. That's Taurus. It's very simple. It's a very simple place in our energy where our well-being is simple. And at the same time, the balancing end is Scorpio, which contains the full range of human experience, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And sometimes the ugly is so ugly that we cannot stand to look at it, and it gets shoved into our unconscious mind where we don't have to look at it. And that's a process called denial, where that's essentially a coping mechanism for something that you're not ready to process. You don't have the skills to be able to process the thing that you weren't able to look at. And there's no shame in that because learning skills is kind of what we came here for, to the earth school. So, yeah, as we go, there are things that are too much for us in the moment that get put into our unconscious mind for later when it's not too much. And that whole process is, I think, part of the divine timing and the well being that is dominant. That's like stuff doesn't come back up to our surface until we have like the Taurus end capacity to be able to ground ourselves through whatever situation might come our way. And so essentially the manifestation, what we're going to see is in our capacity to ground ourselves into well-being. And I that sounds really nice and it's gonna be. It's a very peaceful energy that is this like this pocket of energy that is going to open up as far as like not even just on the full moon, but as a portal for possibly the whole next chapter of your life. And within this space, there is nothing except for knowing all is well. All is exactly how it needs to be. When I'm hungry, I feed myself. When I'm tired, I put myself to sleep. That all is well. The sun came up today. I'm breathing my oxygen. I have water to drink. All is well. And that there is that simple well being available to us. And outside the bubble, outside of that Taurus well being, knowing that all is well bubble, will be, let's call it static. All the all the beliefs and all the thoughts and all the perceptions that aren't that. So the fear, the wanting to stir up the dust of contrast for whatever reason, like there's always people doing that. That's another reason we came to the earth school, is to get clarity, and we can't have clarity if there is no contrast. So there's a lot out there, a lot of diverse points of view that we can look at and react to. And I think on this Taurus full moon lunar eclipse, we're going to get to see one, like, kind of just how painful it can be to focus on the static, to focus on all the things out in the world. And, like, kind of with all this Scorpio energy that we have right now, the sun, the Mercury and Venus, like our eyes are wide open to the harsh truths of reality. We're like wide open for it. And so as you look around the world, it's going to be more painful than ever, is my expectation. And in the midst of all of that pain of seeing this harsh, real reality, whatever your version of that is, it's like you don't have to stay there. You have the capacity. We're building it day by day, each and every one of us, to breathe through hard things, to feel energy that is maybe less than ideal, maybe not your favorite place to be, like having to face harsh truths and where, yeah, it may not be what you wish it was, but at least you're looking at the truth. And then from there, you get to decide, what do you want to have in your reality? Do you want this true thing that you're focused on? Or do you want well being? Because well being is always available to us, it's within every single breath that we take. If we will let go of every other thought and just focus on our breath, we have well being in an instant. And so it's a matter of like, I think the culmination, like the what are we manifesting? You know, manifesting sounds like you're going to have a new car in your garage or like something like that. I don't really think it works like that. I think it's more like we're manifesting experiences, we're manifesting new perspectives. And I think what we're going to get to see is just how capable we are at grounding our energy. I think we're going to have it like kind of put to the max as far as the discomfort of being outside of ourselves. And in that discomfort, you'll pull every ounce of your personal energy that you can back inside of yourself where there's nothing but well being. I think this is like that, that North Node in Taurus 18-month transit of our collective fate, our collective destiny unfolding, like this next chapter of why are we practicing Taurus energy right now with the North Node there? Why are we leaning towards that? And it's because in the new earth, which we're going to talk a lot more about this later, but it's like in the new earth and really always all the time, well-being is dominant. And in Taurus, that's where we know that. And that is the antidote to fear. Fear is a very scorpionic realm. Just in general, like Scorpio includes the full range of human emotions. So, fear and any kind of emotional distress, like that's all very scorpionic. And in Taurus, there's an ability to basically draw a line between what you can and can't control, is one way to say it. What is your business and what is not your business is another way to say it. Scorpio is where our energy merges with other people. So, like, you get all tangled up and you can really no longer even tell what's what. It's just all one big thing. And in Taurus, it's not like that. You can feel your edges. It's called your body. And so, either something that you're worried about or distressed about has to do with your own physical security in this moment, or it doesn't. And Taurus is only ever worried about what has to do with its own physical security in this moment and probably wanting that security to continue into the future. Taurus is a very stable energy.